and welcome to Real Talk with Ashley Abori.
They won't stop me, but I'm still standing. I'm the illest, that's what I'm saying. Taking over, they think I'm playing. They be talking and they be snitching. Don't like snitches, all in my business. They be hating, jealous, they working. Jealous, they working. They be hating, jealous, they working. When they hating, I just be chilling. So I tell them, get on the floor, have some fun. To the beat, let it rain.
High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and the like are illnesses that can be prevented. So why is it that so many struggle with them? The answer: poor diet. Your nutrition, the type and the amount of food that you use to fuel your body, not only affects your physical health, but also your cognitive ability, your ability to get restful sleep, and your social interactions. The average American diet exceeds the recommended amount of fats, refined carbs, sugar, and sodium. On the other hand, we are not eating the recommended amount of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and oils. So what are you cooking in your home? Let's talk about nutrition. Real Talk. Welcome to a very special cooking segment of Real Talk. I'm here with Mrs. Mary Arasami, who is a nutritionist. We are here in my home and we're going to do something special today. We're going to make a recipe, a stir-fry recipe with African-inspired flavors for all you out there who may want to live a healthy lifestyle but have certain flavors that you love that you want to see incorporated in your meal. So today we're going to be doing something special. It's going to be suya stir-fry. And what we have here is we have 10 ounces of chicken breast. So I go ahead and marinate my chicken breast as soon as I buy it. I go ahead and throw it in bags. I cut it in half and throw it in bags with soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, or salt, or whatever I need, and then whatever herbs I like. So I like rosemary with my chicken. So it's already ready to go and marinated when it's time to cook it. So I have the 10 ounces of chicken breast. Here we have 1/2 onion chopped in large pieces. We have 1 red bell pepper chopped. For our spices, we have 2 teaspoons of suya spice. If you can't find suya spice, you can buy it online. Just search for it. Or if your local African market will have suya spice. And then 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And when we are done making this deliciousness, we're going to serve it on a bed of jollof rice made with brown rice. So I wanted to have Miss Mary here today because she has a really inspiring story. Miss Mary, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do and what inspires you to do it?
Well, I'm a wellness coach. I train people to eat better, and live better, because it's very important for us to be healthy. This is just the body that takes us everywhere. This is the vehicle that takes us everywhere. And so we have to look after this body. And like you said, my journey started like 12 years ago. I was totally out of it. I was overweight. I was over 200 pounds at that time, and each time I kept changing my clothes sizes. Then I decided to do something about it, and just started this journey, and it was truly amazing. I lost over 103 pounds, and wow. And I've just stayed that way for over 12 years, been the same size, and truly it has really inspired so many people.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's very awesome, and I see a lot of people struggle with their weight, so that's what actually kept me going, just to be able to help more people. And so this is what I do full time, help people to lose weight, to look good. Self-esteem is very important, but just more than looking good, we have to be healthy. Yes. So this is what I do all the time.
That's great. That's
yes.
great. So 103 pounds, over 103 pounds. Please tell us how you did it.
Okay. First, for me, I started out, eating better. I think that's very key. Honestly, we can do exercise, but even like I tell my clients now, you can never exercise your way out of a bad diet. Mm-hmm. Food is 80%. Mm-hmm. So then I started cutting out my portion. I think it's really important, portion sizes. So before, you know, I would just eat, you know, anything, anytime. Then I started kind of looking at, okay, do I really want to eat that? Then reduce my portion. One of the ways I did that is by drinking water. You know, so before my meal, I drink water. So that way, I'm not going to, you know, overeat. And then I started out cutting out junk food, fried food, all of that. I mean, occasionally I still enjoy some of these things, but not the way I used to, because before it was just a lot of sugar and all of that. So then I cut out all the sugar, and that really makes a whole lot of difference. And to be honest, you know, I didn't even know I was losing weight. I was enjoying the journey. And people started telling me, oh, are you losing weight? And I'm like, oh, really? Then after a while, you know, my clothes were all loose. I didn't need to go and buy another size up, but size down.
Wow.
So I was so excited about that. So just kept me going. Until my husband said, well, that's enough now, you know.
Yeah, something to hold on to, right? So you drink a glass of water before you eat. You cut out the sugar.
Yes.
And then you control your portion sizes.
Portion sizes.
So
very
how
important.
long did it take you to lose the
9 months.
9 months. Wow.
9 months. Yeah.
And so as far as exercise, what did you do during that time?
No gym, you know, I mean, gym is good if you have the membership, but I love walking because that's really good, you know, just getting outside there. Sometimes in the morning, I will walk for like 40 minutes in the morning. And sometimes when I have the time in the evening, I will walk back home. At that time, we were living in England, you know, you can get on buses. It's kind of different from here. Our transportation was good. But then I would just walk down to the train station from my house. It takes about 40 minutes, 45 minutes in the morning, and in the evening, if I'm not too tired, I would do the same. So that's kind of the only exercise that I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so and that really helps a lot. But like I said, more than that, the way you cook as well, and this is why I really love this segment, you know, not that foods are bad, some food are good, but we just cook really bad.
Yeah.
We can really, you know, turn it into something else. So cooking is a very good art by itself. So when we can master cooking, I think we're going to do a lot better with our health.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mentioned a few times that I gave birth December 2015, so a little over a year ago, and I am, you know, on this journey to just get back to myself. I literally feel like I'm not myself. You know, I have this extra weight. I'm tired all the time. So I have been on just dedicated to moving my body more and then to eating healthy. I've done it too many times where I just crash diet and lose a bunch of weight, and then the next thing I know, it gains back. Yeah. So this time I have a family to take care of. I have myself to take care of it. So I'm just taking my time and doing it. I wanted to bring the scale out today, not because I already measured the food, but one thing I noticed is that I am always giving myself a little bit more than I should. If I'm just to guesstimate how much rice, I actually have to get and I'm gonna get it out, the half cup of rice and scoop it. Otherwise, I'll just keep getting a little more, a little more. So could you tell us the importance of using a scale when you're cooking?
It's very important to measure your food when you're cooking. In fact, everything we do really, because one of the problems that we have, you know, I know you're still gonna talk about, you know, how much oil we're going to use. You know, many people don't even measure, you know, before we even come to the scale, if they're using like, you know, like their olive oil, whatever oil they want to use, you know, they just kind of pour down. You don't do that.
Right.
You have to get in like a tablespoon, teaspoon. Is always good to measure stuff. And then as far as food is concerned, at least that gives you an idea of what you're about to consume. And I think it's very important as well.
Right.
Do not cook too much, you know. If you think you cannot just take your eyes off, then just cook what you can eat at that time, okay? And then measure them. Ideally, you know, like 6 ounces of chicken, you know, sometimes I tell people just visualize your palm size. And some people will tell me, but my husband's palm size is bigger than mine. You know, somebody else's palm size will be bigger than yours. But when you have the scale, you can just measure, okay, this is 6 ounces. And then you can cook like that and eat like that. So that way you're training yourself, because you mentioned about, you know, losing weight and then gaining it back, you know, until we make it a lifestyle. You know, that's the only way. It's not about diet. It's always about lifestyle. You know, something you do every day. You know, consistency is very important, whether in losing weight or whatever we want to do anyway. We have to be able to stay with it long time, not 10 weeks crash course.
Definitely,
very important.
definitely. So you mentioned the man's palm size being bigger. One thing we talked about a little earlier, I just want to bring it up again, is that I cannot eat with what my husband eats. My husband eats whatever he wants. He'll have this whole bowl of jollof rice and he will not gain a pound. If I even look at it, I gain. So I think it's important to just make a note that, you know, men and women's bodies are different.
Totally.
Yeah, and we have to kind of realize that, especially like my husband and I we started this health journey together, and he wants to bulk up. That's his thing. He wants to gain muscle, and for him it just seems effortless. Like he just does a few push-ups before bedtime. A week later, you know, like, he has muscles, and here I am. I'm in the gym for an hour, you know, and I have to just remember, like, I am not only still recovering from having a child and breastfeeding, but you know, I have a different metabolism and different genes and everything like that.
And that's really key. We have to understand that we don't have to be jealous of the men, you know. I mean, when they gain weight, it's totally different. That's where they have, you know, their stomach, big belly. That's where most of their fat stays. But for us women, it's different. We have different places, you know, your
like for
arms,
me, it's
your
my hips and thighs
hips
and my arms.
all of that.
Yeah.
So we are able to distribute along. But like you said, our metabolism is totally different. You know, our hormones, you know, the men don't have the same issues that we deal with, you know, every month and things like that. So it kind of changes things for women, and we have to realize that and eat accordingly. Most of the time we can do what our husbands are doing or eat like the men. We have to, you know, really work on ourselves. And then because they're quick, you know, they can decide to lose 10 pounds. It can happen for them in a week, 2 weeks, and then we'll still be dealing with it in a month. So we really have to put that into perspective and then kind of watch our portion. Don't go with their portion. You know, like, well, why can I eat like that? Of course you can't eat like that because we're not going to burn it the same way. So, but like I always said, the best thing to do before you eat, you know, drink a glass of water. That way you're 20%. So by the time you eat, you're only eating 80% of your capacity. That's the way we should eat. And for us women, you know, a lot of things can also help us reducing our stress level. I mean, it's just, we just worry about so many things. You know, we worry about our husband, we worry about our job, we worry about the children. So really we have a lot to deal with. And stress. And
then getting enough rest, I know, is important.
Exactly. So, and if you're not sleeping well, you know, usually before I take a client on, we have one-on-one. First thing I'm always interested in, how many hours do you sleep? And if somebody says to me, I sleep 4 hours, it's impossible to lose weight if you only sleep 4 hours, to be honest, because sleeping itself is weight loss pill. I'm telling you, for your body to actually be able to rest, you can lose weight if you sleep well. You gotta be able to sleep well. So that's important, because then when you sleep well, it reduces cortisol, you know, the stress hormone. So that way your stomach is not bloated. So that way you can actually control your weight, because sleeping, you know, some people feel guilty sleeping. So far you finish your work, there's nothing wrong in getting good sleep. I love to sleep well, because I think it's really important for weight loss, and not just weight loss. It's only when you are sleeping that your body is able to regenerate. Your cells repairs only when you sleep. So that's very important as well.
That's great, and that's something I don't think a lot of people know is about the sleep. So let's go ahead and get started with our cooking.
Alrighty.
One of the keys to a happy and healthy life is to know how to manage your stress. And let's just face it, you can't eliminate stress altogether out of your life, right? But you can learn how to manage it. My name is Ashley Abori, and I'm a certified stress management coach and the author of the book Crush Stress While You Work. So if you want to be in control of your life and get the tips and tricks how to manage your stress, please go to Amazon.com and purchase my book Crush Stress While You Work.
If you'd like to be featured on the show, or you'd like to become a sponsor, go to therealtalktv.com and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ashley Abori, where you can get exclusive content plus any content that you miss here on the show. Okay, so I like to cook in a wok, and one thing I really love about cooking like this in a healthier way is that it's actually easier than cooking the way I used to. I have the ingredients here.
That's right.
And I don't have to cook them as long. It's not as complicated as before because I'm not processing the food way too much, right?
That's right.
So I have the wok here, and I did 2 tablespoons of canola oil, and the 2 tablespoons were at your request, and if you could just kind of explain to our audience why that is.
It's very important to measure. I think we talked earlier about that. And again, when you're cooking like this, you don't really need too much oil, because whatever protein you're going to use, we add its own fat to it. So you have to find a way to minimize your fat. You'll be surprised once we're done, even though we only use 2 tablespoons, it's going to look like a lot more. That's just because of the fat from the chicken. So it's always important not to use too much when you're starting out.
Great.
Yeah.
So with stir fry, you want to do high heat. The oil, when you see it to ripple like that, that's how you know it's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. There was some water in that. Ideally, you don't want that water in there. So we'll just start to cook it.
So how long should they cook it for?
I would say that let the chicken stay in by itself 3 to 4 minutes. My rule of thumb is always when I see it that it's now white, like opaque. That's how I know it's done.
Okay.
And I cut it in like 3/4 inch cubes, so it wouldn't take that long to cook.
Okay.
I have the 2 little ones. As quickly as I can cook, the better. I make my rice, in batches.
Yeah.
So I always have rice on hand, and then just whatever protein I want to make and whatever vegetable, and we call it a day.
That's good.
Now on Sunday, I'll do something a little special, make a nice meal, something traditional. But during the week, it's usually quick meals.
And that's good. And again, it doesn't have to have too many ingredients. So that way you keep it simple, you keep it short, you're not bored, and you can cook anytime.
Right. While the chicken is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add the spices. Because when the veggies come in, it'll all marry together, but you want to make sure that your protein is seasoned well.
Yeah.
So that was 2 teaspoons of suya spice, 1 teaspoon salt, half teaspoon black pepper.
Yeah. Smells good though.
Thank you. Make sure that chicken is done all the way. We're going to leave that there just for a couple of minutes. Let it cook.
So do you keep the temperature same when you're cooking it, or do you just turn it down a little, or just keep it on the same?
I usually just keep it on high heat when I'm making stir fry.
Okay.
Because, it's not like there's bone or anything in there. It will cook thoroughly as long as you keep it in. And the whole thing takes about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm doing like seafood or something, I make it even a shorter time. I add the, like if I'm doing shrimp, I'll do shrimp with the vegetables all at one time, and then I'll just put the cover on it for a little bit, just to soak it through, and then it's ready to go. It's really easy with seafood. Just with chicken, you want to cook it longer.
Cook, yeah.
So I think this is in good shape. Now we can add our vegetables. So what vegetables would you recommend cooking with on a regular basis?
All vegetables are good. Like using the red now, you can always use the green. I like a lot of green vegetables, whether kale, whether spinach. I kind of just walk around it, because vegetables are always good. And the good thing about them, apart from the fact that they nourishes your body, they're on the low end. The calories are really low with vegetables, even compared to fruits. So you can use as much vegetables as you want. You can never go wrong with vegetables.
So you mentioned kale. Now I hear a lot about kale, but Every time I've ever tried to cook it, it never turns out like anything I want to eat. So how do you make your kale?
For me, I do stir fry like we're just doing. I use a little bit of oil, like 2 tablespoons, and I put in a lot of spices. I like spices. I think spices are medicinal. They're really good for you, like, you know, rosemary, garlic, and all of that.
I love rosemary.
Rosemary is really good. It's anti-inflammatory as well. So it's very important. So I use a lot of spices with it, and then I put a little bit of sea salt. So once that is done, then I just put in the kale and just stir it together for a few minutes. Actually, it tastes good.
Okay.
Yeah, it really tastes good. And sometimes if I want to just do something different, I add a little bit of fish, baked fish to it, just to give it another flavor. And, you know, and again, there's just different ways of doing things. At times, I add it to just give it another color as well. I add a little bit of turmeric and it kind of yellow it up. So you can really do it different ways. I mean, if you use a lot of spices, it really tastes good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Wow, it looks good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
I'm going to put a lid on it just so it will cook a little faster.
Okay.
So I like to use a lid with a little hole in it.
Okay.
So we'll let the steam come through, but still just cook it a little faster than it would.
Yeah, okay. And you can smell it. You can smell the onion. I use a lot of onions. I just love onions.
I love onions. I overdo it with onions.
You can never overdo it with it because onions is just good for you.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and even sometimes when I cook with it like this, when it's like about 2 minutes to go, I add in some more fresh ones.
Yeah.
Just for the smell.
Nice.
It's very good.
If I know my husband, he'll see the rice with the stir fry, he's still going to want something green. That's just how he is. So I might even just saute some spinach on the side or Brussels sprouts. We love Brussels sprouts in the house. I just do like I just cut them in half, toss them with olive oil, salt and pepper, and put them in the oven for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. And even the kids, they snack on Brussels sprouts. Good. So I'm lucky that way.
That's really good. I'll do that too because sometimes I just use kale as snacks. When I just, you know, stir fry it, you can just snack. It kind of comes out like seaweed, you know, like it's really good.
Okay, just kind of like crispy kale.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
It's really nice, so. I think it's just planning. Things does not really have to be difficult. This tastes good, it smells good, it looks good, and it's not, it doesn't take long.
Right.
Even like,
and for people who may be very busy, they have all these programs now. HelloFresh is one of them, where they literally will deliver food to your door already chopped and everything, and all you have to do is throw it in the pot and cook it. So you're still getting home cooked food. It's not processed food, but somebody is doing all the prep work for you.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm just going to time it for like a minute and a half, and then once that's done, we'll be ready.
Yeah, smells really good.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
So while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and plate the rice. So I found that I absolutely have to use a measuring cup because otherwise, I'm telling you, somehow my measurements will be completely off. And I track my food in this MyFitnessPal. So I want to make sure I'm actually tracking what I'm eating. I track my food and my exercise there. So that's a half a cup of rice. And it's not, of course, it's not how much I would usually eat, but it's strangely, it's satisfying. Once I eat it, it's not, you know, it's enough. Especially the vegetables kind of fill your stomach rather better than, you know, some sort of simple carb would.
Yeah, and this is really great. And I like what you said, that you're really amazed that you're satisfied with it. And this is what the key is, because, you know, this is carbs, though it's brown rice, but it's still carbs, you know, so the vegetable makes all the difference. You know, as small as this is, you can really fill the rest of your plate with vegetables and still be on the low side, because the whole bag of spinach is only like 50 calories anyway. So that's very important. Just add in as much veggie, and remember, you would drink a glass of water before you start, so that really makes it even much better for you.
Right. I'm gonna simmer the heat down. Now, one thing I've been doing, I saw on Dr. Oz that apple cider vinegar is great for helping you to digest carbs. So what I do, I get my wine glass out. I get my apple cider vinegar.
You're really ready for this business, right?
I am. I just add it there. And then I add my water, and I pretend I'm having a glass of wine with my food. And it's supposed to help you to digest your carbs better.
Apple cider is good anyway. It's really good for your health, you know. Sometimes, you know, people can really cheat. I'm not saying you should do it all the time, but if you eat something that you're not supposed to eat, actually, you can just do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with a little water and flush you, you know. So that's kind of cheating. I don't encourage people to do it all the time, but, you know, once in a while, you add all the cakes and all of that.
Right.
You can just go home and flush.
Right.
So that's good, yeah.
So that's my way of, you know, entertaining myself when I'm
And that's
eating.
really good. It looks really good too. So,
All right.
wow, this is good. I like the look already.
So yes, I think it looks really nice. So like I said, some people will want it with something green. You know, that's just very important to them.
Yeah.
And if you want, you could just do some easy kale, spinach, or something like that. But I like the look of this. And when I did the calculations, this whole meal will only be about 350 calories, which I love. Because then I can eat a good dinner and I don't have to feel guilty
That's right.
about what I've eaten. You want to do the honors, do a taste test?
Okay. Okay, let me do this one.
Okay.
Okay. Let me try the chicken first,
All right.
because that really smelled so good. So, wow, it's really nice. It's really delicious.
Great, great.
And so if I put in a bit of rice, wow,
Awesome.
very good. You should try it.
Okay.
It's really nice. Wow. This is good. I like the recipe, so I'm going to try it for my husband over the weekend. So this is really nice. It tastes really good. And I like the
happy with
soya
it.
taste and the soya smell too, but it's not too much, so that makes it really delicious.
Yeah.
This is good meal.
So I am stepping out on this journey to better health. I want to thank Mary for being here. So
Thank
many
you.
great tips, so much insight, and from somebody who has actually done it, right? It's not just theory for her. She's actually taken the steps to do it. I'm going to challenge you guys to go along with me on this journey to better health. We're going to be talking about food, exercise, different things that can make you a better person overall. So please, if you have comments, find me on Facebook, Ashley Abori CookingEp, and let's talk about what you're doing to becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, we want to thank our sponsors. We have Lolita Guarin, who is a stress management coach. If you want to know more about Lolita, or if you would like to work with her or have her come to speak at one of your engagements, go to beamazingyou.com. Lolita also has a book called Crush Stress at Work. I highly recommend it. We also have Cultural Expression. These guys have these cool origin shirts that allow you to share your culture with everyone around you. If you would like to order one of these shirts, go to culturalexpression.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Real Talk.